how did that creative spirit come out in you? Was it something from your brother, your family? Like, where does that come from?
You ever met a homeschooled kid?
Which we love.
Oh, yeah, BeatiDudes. Welcome back to another week of the BeatiDudes. I am Jeff Scheffelbein. I'm with Nick Besner.
What's up?
And Paul Kolker.
Howdy.
I threw you off. I went different direction there.
You mixed it up.
It's called Improv. And we're so excited to be having this show today where we talk about authentic fraternity. How can we follow God's will and seek to grow in virtue while we're also growing together in humor and holiness? And as I said to somebody the other day, we have wit, wisdom, and just about everything in between. So welcome to the BeatiDudes. We have a really special guest joining us today. You're super special.
A cool dude.
It's so special.
Yeah. This is...
He knows it.
Watch it.
Anthony D'Ambrosio.
Well done. D'Ambrosio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bravo.
What's your middle name?
Francesco.
Molto bene.
Seriously. Oh, man, this just got really thick in here. So, in your social? No, just kidding. Hey, so we're excited to have you. You're in town from Denver, Colorado. What brought you to the beautiful Dallas? I mean, it's your hometown, but what brought you here for this trip?
I mean, the BeatiDudes.
Thanks you.
Really, yeah.
This is it right here.
Clearly it was us.
I couldn't tell if he said BeatiDudes, which
I
that
said
would
dudes.
be okay. Because I don't know if you're just living in virtue.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is always blessed.
I'm blessed. I'm blessed.
He's meek. He's poor in spirit.
Yeah.
You know Anthony.
Yeah.
You named two of them. We really we ought to learn all 8 of those if we're gonna go by that name.
I know all the dudes.
Yeah, fair enough.
Anthony, what brought you here?
Yeah, so I'm working on a feature-length film about Maximillian Kolbe, and I'm doing some screenings of our proof of concept 20-minute film here in Dallas. So that's what brought me into town.
What drew you to Kolbe?
Kolbe is his desk, for one. I don't know if you've ever seen. Have you guys seen pictures of his desk?
No. You just really throwing a curveball at me.
Yeah, was not expecting that.
Are you talking about the upper right drawer? Like, I don't know.
So he actually, there's pictures of him that just make everybody who is creative, entrepreneurial type feel very at home. He has just the most messy, chaotic desk that you've ever seen.
Nice.
Just like stacks of papers everywhere and all sorts of knickknacks. And he's just in the middle of this chaos, like just absolutely at peace. So, yeah.
I think right now you're probably the expert in the room on Kolbe.
Mm-hmm.
Is that fair to say?
Right, yeah.
Okay, there's a lot of people listening who maybe have a pretty good idea, but there's plenty of people listening who've never even heard of Maximilian Kolbe. Who are we talking about?
You mean the people who haven't heard of him? I don't know those people. I'm just kidding.
Name them.
Wow, this is curveball.
Yeah.
No,
man.
Johnny, I know you're listening. You still owe me $5.
Yeah, no, he was a Franciscan friar in Poland that was sort of like the Bishop Barron of his time and age during pre-World War II era. He was just a creative savant that innovated in the printing press, had the biggest Catholic distribution network in Poland, extended that to Nagasaki, and because why not, let's go over there without any money or anything and just learn Japanese and start a paper,
Awesome.
That's
no
his
Google
his style.
Translate for
no
him?
Google Translate, just no ChatGPT, just some friars, some Polish friars. I think that would be a really interesting accent, the Polish-Japanese friar accent.
You got a couple minutes to work on that.
I'll get that
let's pull
figured
that
out
one together.
in a non-offensive way.
Yeah, but he actually is most famous for he was brought into Auschwitz when the Nazis came into Poland, rolled in, and they were trying to cull all sort of Polish national identity, and so they would bring in, before the Jewish extermination, it was mainly political leaders and media giants, etc. So he was brought in, and during that season, that time, they were trying to sort of fray the Polish Brotherhood and the Polish national identity. So one of the things that they would do, they play all these mind games. One of those was if somebody escaped from Auschwitz, they would pull 10 people at random to die from that person's bunkhouse. and they would starve them to death in a starvation bunker. And so he, in the face of this kind of maniacal mind game, called the Nazis on it and showed Polish Brotherhood was still very strong by volunteering to join the other 9 men and saving one man's life in that cell and dying with him. So he's a Polish hero, and the national identity of Poland is something that remembers him with a lot of pride.
Yeah, there's something universal about him too. I mean, people from all different backgrounds can recognize that sacrifice, that love, that unity and brotherhood that wasn't rooted in, do we all have this? Did we all come from the same street? Do we all believe the same thing? It was more of like his love of humanity is a sacrifice.
Yeah.
So you're here to promote a film. How do you go from, you know a little bit about Maximillian Kolbe to somehow now this is probably a huge part of your life?
Yeah, so I mean it's a long story. I'll see if I can pack it together in something that's fun. But I would say that Kolbe was somebody that really chose me. I didn't really know much about him before I started working on a script. The truth was that I was working on consulting with the Diocese of Dallas on a big youth and young adult initiative that they were doing, and we decided that we wanted to do a theme that was built around suffering, and that we were looking for saint stories that really could help us to enter into that mystery. And so the idea of a 12 Angry Men style, what are the conversations that are happening behind the scenes inside of the cell as Kolbe is pastoring these men who are facing their death and facing their, a really dark experience of grief. And I was going through a really tough time at the time, and I think that this was a way that Kolbe, in many ways, just sort of chose me to bring out his story. Yeah.
To keep going on this, what you just described was not the part that Kolbe volunteers himself, although that's critical to the entire narrative of what this man has done and why he's a saint. But you described what happened once they got inside of the starvation cell. Is there documentation around this? Is it interpretive? Or do you feel inspired by some of like how you've gotten deep into who Kolbe is? You're at the desk of Kolbe and this stuff comes to light. I've never heard any of these details. How did this come to be the story inside that cell?
Yeah, so there are quite a few details actually that give us, whenever you're doing something like this, you have to read between the lines and you have to make conjectures. But there was a Polish prisoner who was the janitor, basically, of the jail block, and who was an eyewitness to a lot of the things that were happening inside of the cell. So we don't know exactly what the conversations were, but we do know that these men went in various states of shock and despair. We do know that they were of different backgrounds, mainly political prisoners, but with wide varieties of political beliefs. You would have had people who were part of the Communist Party and people who were revolutionaries that were more on like the right-wing fascist side and whatever. So this is like every walk of life, all the political rivals that were present in Auschwitz at the time. So you would have, we know that there's the kind of person that would have been in the cell with Kolbe, and we know that he brought them to a point where they were all singing Catholic hymns, reciting Polish poetry, praying the rosary together, and that they lasted they died slowly, but that they lasted all the way to 14 days, which is an absolute feat, considering that there was no water, no food. It was complete exposure. They were thrown in naked. So what he was able to do and the way that affected the morale of the other people in Auschwitz was very well documented.
Wow. This is a proof of concept film. What does that even mean?
Yeah, so a lot of times when you're trying to make a movie, the best thing to do is to make something short that gives a little taste of what that is going to be. And so we made a 20-minute short film that gives you some of the story beats, that takes you into the feeling and into the cell as best we could without the bigger budget. But so we did that in 2018 alongside this project with the Diocese of Dallas, and we're doing screenings of that to sort of give it a little taste of what the feature-length full movie is going to be like.
Drum up some excitement from people.
And Paul was in it.
Yeah.
If you make it to the final credits, I don't know what happens. Do people like immediately turn off, or they start donating? Because it says Paul Kolker is German. Right?
Yeah. I
What
love
was your
that you
line?
cast. No, I don't want to say it.
You were a bad German.
Yeah, I was a bad
Yeah,
German.
never mind. Yeah.
I was like, who do
Fair.
I know?
We don't need that
can be a
soundbite.
Nazi. Paul. Yeah.
Yeah, why was I your first choice? Ich spreche, though. I do speak like a very little bit of
It's
German.
because you hadn't yet developed that character that goes from Poland to Japan, so he had to cast you as just the German.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
between.
Yeah, work harder.
I mean, look at you, Paul. Look at you.
I'm very German.
Perfect Aryan.
Yeah. Wow. No, please. Let's cut that and take it back.
Paul is so funny because he has this joyful spirit and this big smile, and we make a logo that makes him look serious. He's like, "What is this?" And we're like, "Paul, just go with it. Okay? It's ironic."
I
You're the
guess.
serious one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, like, Anthony, you're doing these screenings. You are trying to raise awareness. Is this? You need funding. What's going on? How can people get involved in this?
Yeah, so great question. This is a movie takes a lot of work, and you're recreating an entire world. And so we're raising right now $440,000 to both shoot the film and then also to market it. And the most important thing that people can do for us right now is to pray. I think that praying for the intercession of Kolbe, who himself was planning on making a TV station and getting into movies well before EWTN was a thing. This is the guy that would have made that happen had World War II not go down. So, to pray for his intercession to be able to tell this story, but then also we're looking for funding. So if there's anybody listening to this that has, $250,000 to kind of throw around, play with, and feel free to give me a call.
I'm fresh out. I'm fresh out of my $250,000 bills. But one thing I want to say, Anthony, because we'd worked a little bit together on some of the investing side of this project, and I think it's important. At least I'm an investor by background, and one of the things that really stood out to me was the smart approach you took in terms of budget and film. Do you want to just expand on that a little bit?
Sure. Yeah. So I think that there's a really big, everybody in the Catholic world, I think, wants to see media that makes us feel proud to be Catholic. We want to see stories of our saints, and we want to see that Catholic identity actually lived out through stories of our heroes. But the problem is, one of the reasons why it's not really happening very much, I don't think it's because of a lack of talent. I think it's because of the economics, that when you're doing a saint film in the media realm, in the world of Hollywood, you call that a period piece, which means you're recreating an entire historical era, and that's a very expensive type of film or story to tell. And so a lot of saint stories are very expensive, and right now we're kind of at the beginnings of our Catholic Hollywood ecosystem, right? Like we have not really developed a network like the way that the secular world has for distributing Catholic film. We're still way behind the evangelical world in this as well. So that means that we need to be very smart and very nimble with this sort of projects that we try to make. And so we've done this 12 Angry Men style thing where most of the conversations, or most of the movie is based in the conversations that are happening inside of the cell as Kolbe is trying to fight to forge a brotherhood of hope with the 9 other men in the darkest place in the world. And so this sort of concept allows us to not be making massive concepts. We're not having to shut down an entire street to get that one wide angle shot before we go into his office or something. We don't have to,
or go find car fanatics who have 1940s cars,
right,
and all of that,
and get them all to come by.
Well, I think the answer to this is let's just get Paul on his pathway to sainthood as quickly as possible, which also involves surpassing. But
sorry, what?
Can he become a saint before dying though?
I would like to see that.
Then he could play himself in the movie.
But my point to this, Paul, is we don't need a period piece. We got so much film of you. We would just start splicing it up and immediately have a low budget, high impact film. I would watch it.
Yeah.
But I have to die, right?
We could arrange that.
Minor
as well.
details. Minor details.
Paul, it's death. There has to be miracles attributed to you. I mean, there's all sorts of
somebody has to move to Rome and advocate for my sainthood.
I just get busy, okay?
Okay, all right. I'll start being holier.
All right, so in the spirit of Maximillian Kolbe and his crazy creativity and the desk, man, I think everybody's Googling the desk. That we're going to break the internet right now. We would like to play a game with you that's also very creative, and this is an improv game. You're going to be the judge, Anthony. So Judge Anthony is here. The bonus round you are playing, so get your brain working. Paul's going to read a character card and a question. We'll have 9 seconds on the guitar clock, and from there, we're going to jump in, and you're going to see who wins. Paul, what's our prompt?
As a crazy cat lover, what is wrong with kids today?
They only have one life.
Meow. They're too busy flying around. Feline around.
Definitely went for the pun. Yeah.
I'll tell you what's wrong with kids today. They don't understand how to clean themselves.
Why is she from like Tyler, Texas or something?
They all are now that they are not Australian. And if you're just listening, I think I actually licked my hand and wiped my eyebrow.
Yeah,
so it's getting weird.
You did.
I think the problem is that they all think they're cats.
I think you just took it. Yeah.
I mean,
Where's the applause?
Have you seen the tails they're wearing these days?
These tails. You got a tail. You got a man bun tail.
Oh, come on. Different kind of tail.
Oh, my goodness. So this is really strange. You don't even get to judge because you won.
Yeah, you took it.
A question for you in your quest to understand Kolbe. Do you wear Kolbe socks?
I do, but not today.
Okay, well then the socks that you're getting this day from Sacrilegious are St. Anthony. So
Just don't lose on it.
Yeah, I was just
that's a joke you're going to have to go look up if you don't know anything about St. Anthony. So here's your socks from Sacrilegious. Sacrilegious is actually an official partner of the BeatiDudes. You can check out the Sacrilegious catalog of socks, including St. Anthony, to be like our guest. Go to sacrilegious.com/BeatiDudes. You get 10% off, and you'll be a part of the BeatiDudes with Sacrilegious. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Nick from the BeatiDudes. Check this out. If you're a business owner or marketer targeting Christians in your community, Decided Excellence magazine can help you reach that goal. Decided Excellence publishes monthly magazines to thousands of homeowners in your area. So whether you're a home services business owner, a Catholic school trying to grow your enrollment, whatever it might be, Decided Excellence can help you find your next customer. Visit decidedexcellence.com today and start growing together.
Hey y'all, this is Jeff Schuffelbein. When Nick and I set out to start our new company, Undivided Life, we were really concerned about how would we cover the healthcare needs of our growing families, and we were so excited to find a company that fit both our medical needs and our faith beliefs perfectly. It's called Solidarity HealthShare. It is an ethical alternative to traditional health insurance. We're never part of sharing in the medical costs of anything that goes against the teachings of the Catholic Church, making it a great alternative for Catholics and Christians alike. Solidarity is very affordable, which is perfect for a large family or for a new and growing business like the one we've started. So visit joinsolidarity.com today so that you can get started with us.
Welcome back, everybody. Anthony, I've got to ask, I'm an accounting major by background. Couldn't be more different than going out and being a creative and making film and art. And I saw you have a children's book.
When was the first time you ever fell in love with a spreadsheet?
Oh man! When did I get my first computer? I don't know. 1996.
The little Nick, like everybody else is playing Oregon Trail, and he's just like hitting multiplication tables. Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Lock the taskbar, Mama.
Lock the taskbar.
There it is.
Nick don't like it. Lock the taskbar.
That's for our older demographic.
You're so Gen X. Gosh.
Feels good.
But Anthony,
Yeah.
as someone who never had that growing up or that, desire as I, pursued my passions, how did that creative spirit come out in you? Was it something from your brother, your family? Like, where does that come from?
You ever met a homeschooled kid?
Which we love.
Hey, does it amplify because you're a twin?
So
It does. It does.
I've got I guess I don't know, bad experience or my best, one of my best friends who was homeschooled actually was an accounting major with me. So
went the other direction.
Went the other way.
He
Yeah.
had more time for spreadsheets.
See, that's what you call a rebellious homeschooler.
Oh, okay.
Stop with the spreadsheets,
Down
Johnny.
with the man, getting into the spreadsheets.
But Mom, I want my life to be structured and orderly.
I'm going to sum up everything you just said to me.
I really want to know the answer to this question.
No, we're just going to keep making jokes. We're going to rip on this for another 35 minutes.
So yeah, no, I grew up in a very creative home. My dad was a theologian. He taught, and we moved here to Dallas when he got a job teaching at University of Dallas. And so we were involved in the Highlands, and then we were involved in sort of like a community, homeschool community out here. And basically for me, what that just meant was I just read all day, every day. That was like all I did, at least in the early years. I was just an obsessive, voracious reader. So I think that my relationship with books is really where creativity came about. And I think that part of that was, reading C.S. Lewis, reading Tolkien, beginning to understand how deeply stories could not just impact me, but could create, I guess, a really deep impact on a values level for other people. I think from a very young age, I started to understand that and started to set my sights on wanting to follow in the footsteps as well.
What you just said reminds me of something I remember learning back in a college course about St. Augustine, where his confessions are so universal because they go so deep.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he dives deeply into himself, like into his heart and the inner workings of his own mind and psychology and all of that, that it becomes this universal story that everybody can relate to.
Humanity transcends our differences.
Right.
Yeah.
But the deeper you go, you also end up going broader as well.
There's a rule in writing that the universal is found in the particular, and that basically just means that the more specific you are as a writer or as a creative, the more universal your story or your piece of art is going to be.
Say it again.
The universal is found in the particular.
Yes.
That's great.
Yeah, that's.
I didn't make it up.
Put that on a bumper sticker, though, if it's not already there.
You didn't make up any of this, but you're helping us. You're helping all of us, all the BeatiDudes in America and beyond.
Yeah.
In America. Why did you become George W. Bush when you said that? In America.
I think I become George W. Bush every time I say America. Too.
It's hard not to.
It's really hard, yeah.
There's just something about it.
Now watch this drive.
Watch this drive. Hey, so you're also a catalyst for creative movements within the faith. Talk about this whole history of how you launched what is really still today a thriving underground of connections among people of the creative type.
Yeah. So when I was, I went to seminary, and then after I went to seminary, I was doing youth ministry and trying to figure out what was next for me. And I got involved in the startup community. I was participating in agency life, a marketing agency here in Dallas, and I just found that there was something so refreshing about the hopefulness of that world and the way that it embraced creativity as a way to solve problems. And I didn't see that culture of that can-do attitude culture very present in the Catholic world. And so I was looking for my tribe in a lot of ways, and I was like, what if we created a community of people that there has to be other people out there that are the wacky sort of creative types that are willing to take risks and live a little different, live outside the spreadsheet, if you will. No offense, Nick. And
you should see what he can do with the spreadsheet.
Although this is true, I have seen what he can do, and it is amazing. It's amazing. So anyway, I invited a group of friends to come together in Dallas, and was like, hey, bring an ugly church bulletin and a 6-pack, and we're going to fix the ugly bulletin problem in the Catholic Church, which, as you probably know and are aware, has not fixed yet. But we did fix a problem that was upstream of that, which was that there really wasn't a place for creatives to gather in the church or to find their connections. And so that event went viral. People were shipping us bulletins from Minnesota, as if we needed more ugly bulletins to understand the problem. But anyway, point is, it really struck a chord, and it turned into a thriving community called Catholic Creatives, which is a community of artists and entrepreneurs and filmmakers that want to see a new renaissance take place in the church through beauty.
Yeah, you say new renaissance because for so long, the Catholic Church was a patron of the arts. It was the patron of the arts, at least in the West. So, yeah. Yeah,
you can't step over history at all without studying Catholic theology, because our art and our culture and our innovations were so profoundly impactful to the world. And I think this whole community shares this desire to see that creativity restored to the Catholic Church.
Do you still see fruits from that kickoff of Catholic Creatives and the annual meetups and the regional meetups? Do you see fruits of that today?
Absolutely. I mean, I think that one of the most powerful things that you can do is introduce people to each other that never would have known each other, but that either fall in love and have kids or become business partners. And so I would say this is an evidence of that right here.
I'm going to put my arm around Paul for those of you listening, because I got to tell you that I was cutting together like a promo video of speeches that I had done, and a third party helped to kind of spice some stuff together, and they would put audience shots on there. And that's when I realized I've been on the radio with Paul for a while, and here's this video of him asking me a question at a Catholic Creatives. We can stop holding each other. Asking me a question. And I remember, like, when I saw this video, I called him and I said, "We've talked before over microphones, and you like hid this from me. I didn't know that was you." But
No, I just was one of the many that Jeff talked to back in the day.
When you pan that audience, though, and I think about who wasn't in my life before that day and who is now, and I've told this to your brother too, I owe you guys so much, because you did create these collision moments of relationships that are so formative, that are this version of authentic fraternity, where people are still continuing to create together. They're still continuing to launch businesses together. I mean, this whole thing is a creative endeavor. Even if creativity looks like a pivot table, it is a place to create, to be a co-creator. And had it not been for y'all, and one of the group that I think was creating these collisions at the exact same time was Young Catholic Professionals. And when I look back at the narrative of my life, I owe you. I want to say thank you. It's incredible what you've done. I know COVID kicked Catholic Creatives in the hiney a little bit there, and things had to get reset. But I want you to be very, very proud of what you created for all of us. I mean, Paul and I just held on to each other for like 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's the real thing right there.
An awkwardly long amount of time.
On a podcast, no less.
Yeah, and we keep announcing it.
Yeah, an audio hug.
Yeah,
an audio
Only
hug.
the YouTube viewers would actually know.
Yeah.
Hey, if you tune into YouTube, I'll show you the clip of Paul asking me a question. That's fair, right? Let's tease it out a little.
Touche.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, I tell you what, we have a special gift for you, and then we'll get to the wrap-up. But we've asked all of the BeatiDudes present here today to write a poem about you, Anthony.
Oh,
and,
great.
His excitement is palpable.
Since you already beat us on the improv game, we're going to ask that you don't beat us on the poem about yourself, okay?
I'm going to work on a poem while you guys are
No, listen to our work.
Not about me, about you guys.
You literally have to. That's fair.
You have to have me back so I can share a poem about you guys.
The bonus episode.
All right, bonus.
So listen, we are going to go through these.
You were writing this when I sat down.
I'm sure that was awkward. Like, you're reading about yourself and you're like,
I didn't see it.
Why does he speak like this? He's
speaking in iambic pentameter.
He's fanboying me in stanzas. Okay, you actually have to vote. This is a 76-point question, and since you took the first competition, this is really going to declare the winner for our show. So, anybody feel like they need to go first? I'll go. That's I gave you your chance, Anthony. You ready?
Is it a haiku?
We'll see.
Yeah.
No, why that?
Just never get to press that button.
Is this a Disney movie? That was awesome.
Anthony D'Ambrosio. He's one of the best bros we know. He can't be stopped by woes. Oh no, he's a multi-layered Oreo.
That's right.
That's right. Preach. Kolbe's passion again burns bright. his heart triumphant in the dark of night. Stand firm, old friend. Please don't quit unto death and then beyond it.
Wow, holy. I can't say that. Wow, that was amazing.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah, you can get further away from the mic if you want to, or you can get closer while you praise me.
Oh, that was, Jeff, that was fantastic. I'm floored.
Brother, I actually wrote this a couple months ago before we even had this show. It's just, I just
like,
write about you.
Came out during prayer time. Holy Spirit, man. Holy Spirit. He speaks in poetry.
He does.
Paul.
Oh, okay. All right. So mine's more in the vein of epic poem. So it's about 35 pages long. Buckle up.
We're just gonna read a few stanzas though.
Oh well, yes, just a select few.
Excerpt.
Anthony's a friend. You could say he's an oldie. I knew him before he was a producer for Kolbe. He's also quite cool. You could say he's the man I learned years ago when we met at St. Anne. And then not much later, the Lord did not tarry when he called us both into the same seminary. But that wasn't our fate. No, it wasn't his directive, because Anthony had to spearhead the Catholic creatives. And now he sits with us, a great Catholic bro, the one, the only, Anthony Dambro.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Damn, bro. I haven't heard that since seminary.
Right?
No extra points just because you're touching right now.
You know,
Stop saying weird things.
Do you guys know that Paul's nickname in seminary was the Punisher?
The Punisher.
Because I would use puns, which wasn't really fair because they were using the thing that they didn't like me for.
I thought there was like some dark shadow side to Paul. Like,
yeah.
Murdered a lot of people.
He really kills a
With
lot of
those
puns. He kills a lot of puns.
Yes, yeah.
Mr. Besner.
Okay. Well, he printed it.
Anthony.
It's from a spreadsheet. He wrote it in Excel.
Yes. Yes. All those things are true.
And then he used a VLOOKUP table to find the best
There we
pattern.
go.
If then.
I would never use VLOOKUP, by the
Oh,
way.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
XLOOKUP.
Wouldn't use that either.
Okay, I don't know your
Dude,
macros.
you're treading into dangerous waters, Paul.
I'm trying. I'm trying to speak his language.
I appreciate you, but you need to stop. Anthony, founder of Sherwood Fellows Bright, in faith and creativity, entrepreneurship's might. Your passion to connect young Catholics soars, and Sherwood's seeds of faith, love, and life, it pours. With Kolbe's passion, a new film takes flight, a powerful story of selfless sacrifices might. May Sherwood's light continue to spread. Pray, let this film unite others to break bread.
Oh, man.
Man, you plagiarized Jack Frost like that was straight. Didn't you just substitute words from him?
No?
I think that you're really pulling. I think that you are like.
I'm nervous.
He's really nervous.
Yeah.
I'm giving it to Nick. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
guys.
that's fair.
Oh my goodness! Way to go, Nicholas! Woo!
Wait. BeatiDudes.
We do have applause on here. Normally it's Paul
you,
cheering for
thank
himself. Hey, Nicholas, 76 points. Congratulations! Yes. What a great start to the Anthony shows.
Are we tied now?
Yes, so stick around for the bonus.
Yeah.
It all goes down in the bonus. It's a 77-point question. Oh, we got this. Just either one of us.
Somebody's got it. It's anybody's
You
game.
just add points to it.
Easy. All right. You don't understand the rules. You're too creative for rules.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony. One last. How do people find you? Find this film. Let's give them a rally cry and take us home.
Okay, Kolbe's, no apostrophe, just Kolbe's passion.org.
And that's
Kolbes.
Kolbe's Passion.
.org. Yeah.
All right. And you're going to be on this roadshow for a little while. We're going to be hiring big name actors. We need your millions of dollars. So send them on over.
Yeah.
$250,000 bills.
That's it.
The Undivided Life, they are investors in the project.
That's
so
right.
I feel
Nick and
we
I
need
got
to,
involved.
You know.
You know what you two you have in common?
What?
You produce films, and I'm like, sure.
Yeah.
I like you.
Yep.
Paul,
Wow,
your film. Tell us about your film real quick, because there's a lot going on here.
Yeah. So I did a short film called Together, and it's basically.
Have you seen this, Anthony?
Not
You need to watch it, bro.
I need to show it to you. Yeah. So it's the goal with that was to to
both
teach.
Both your films make me cry.
100% tearing up in both of them.
No, I appreciate it. No, yeah, the goal was just to help people understand and kind of live through the process of grief a little better, because I feel like especially over the last few years we've all had plenty of opportunities for whether it was opportunities or people in our lives. I mean, we've all lost something with the way, the virus and lockdowns and all of that. I mean, so when I got the chance to make this finally, it was just, all right, how does grief kind of isolate us sometimes? And then how can we overcome that if we come together was the inspiration for the title.
You both made awesome films. Whatever we can do to support you. Additionally, we're in. Prayer is the number one. So please join me in praying for the Kolbe film, for Anthony's work, for the creativity of these men, for the creativity of the spreadsheets of Undivided Life.
Yes.
For the cables, for everything. So with that, Anthony, thanks for being here. And until next time, to all the BeatiDudes, we'll see you in the Eucharist.
See you in the Eucharist.
This podcast is part of the Spoke Street Network. For more great podcasts, visit spokestreet.com.